is Trekzone's Vegas or Bus Tour with your host, Matt Miller.
And of course, I'm standing here now with Dan from the Gaaays in Space. Dan, tell us a little bit about Gaaays in Space.
Absolutely. Gaaays in Space is a non-profit organization that was founded 3 years ago to celebrate the fact that after 50 years, there were finally gay characters in Star Trek. It took more than half a century for the gay community to see themselves reflected on screen as a part of Roddenberry's optimistic vision of a utopian future where complete and true equality had been achieved. So that was a very significant moment, in my opinion. And it seemed as though, and the moment, of course, is when Sulu's character was shown to be gay in the movie Star Trek Beyond in 2016. And it seemed like no one was really paying attention. There was no, I thought people would be going nuts, saying, finally, yes, yay! But nothing was happening. So I thought, you know what, I come to Star Trek Las Vegas every year as a member of the press to do interviews. And I was going to be here anyway, so I said, you know what, this needs to be commemorated. This is a moment in history that's passing by with no pomp and no circumstance. And if any group deserves pomp and circumstance, it's the Gaaays. So I said, you know what, I'm going to throw a party. I don't know if anyone's going to care. I don't know if other people feel the same way that I do, but I do know I'm going to try. We had such a great turnout. Nana Visitor from Deep Space Nine came as our very first special guest.
Oh, wow.
She was so adorable. When I asked her to come, she said, Dan, I can probably only stay for about 20 minutes. And I thought, you know, no, of course, like, just having you there will mean the world to us. She ended up staying for 3.5 hours.
Oh, wow.
Because she had so much fun. And the next day she told me, she said, Dan, anytime you want to do this again, you call me and I'm there.
Oh, wow.
So when Nana Visitor says she will come to a party if you plan it, you start planning parties. And now here we are 3 years later. We've done 56 individual events all across the country at different conventions, in cities, as standalone parties. Tons of the Star Trek actors have joined us. They've autographed things for raffles. You know, they've donated their time. And it's really been the most unexpected project of my life because I expected it to be one party.
Well, it's absolutely incredible. And we were at the Warrior Women in Trek panel earlier today talking about this sort of representation and stuff like that and how it's always sort of been in the mirror universe, and it's always been good to be, you know, it's bad to be good, or it's good to be bad, sort of thing. And then that's sort of where the representation has been. But to bring it into the mainstream and to have Anthony Rapp and Dr. Kolber, you know, together on screen and actually almost legitimizing it, if that's a right word, you know, finally. Yeah. So, I mean, some of the reaction has been negative, and you don't focus on the negative. Right. But how does that make you feel when that's the response that people come up with?
The fact that the relationship between Anthony Rapp's character and Wilson Cruz's character was the most talked about, in a positive way, the most talked about relationship of the entire first season of the first new Star Trek series in 15 years, was it? Is amazing. And it felt, you know what? It felt right. It felt like that is the right response because CBS did not go the way of the token. CBS did not say, okay, we have to have a gay character, so just throw one in there. Yeah. They said, we have a really interesting story to tell with really interesting characters who are in a very interesting relationship. And oh, by the way, they're both guys. And they created real people. And the fact that they respected the community enough to do that and stuck with it, even though, as you say, there were dissenting voices, they stuck with it and they said, these are our characters, this is our story, embrace it or don't embrace it, this is life. This is life in Roddenberry's future. Yeah. So to know that and to witness that and live through that, you know, felt amazing. It still does.
And it really just drowns out all that other
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely.
You know, and
Absolutely.
focus on those positives. Well, Dan, it's been awesome to get to know Gaaays in Space. Come down and check you guys out in the dealer's room. And I believe you had a party last night.
We did. We had, this year we are having 2 events. Last night was the first one. It was a party at the Voodoo Lounge, which is at the top of the Rio, where we are now. And it was a bit of a warm-up party, focusing on the announcement that our official 501c3 nonprofit status was made official about 2 months ago.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you. So that was last night, and that was, it was a smaller event. We still had, about 130, 140 people came and had a great time. Now, Saturday night is the Wrath of Vegas 2019, the 4th annual Wrath of Vegas party, and it is going to be absolutely insane. We're having it at a club called Piranha Nightclub. We have the Roddenberries performing. Do you know the Roddenberries?
They've started following all of us on Twitter and Instagram, which has been great.
They are a force of nature. We also have an artist named Aurelio Voltaire, who did an album called Bitrexual, which if you have not heard, you must, because it is hilarious and incredible music. Our drag queen hostess, Miss Heather Wood, will be performing a fierce Captain Janeway and will be killing it as Dr. Crusher. There might be some Kira thrown in there as well. It is going to be an amazing time and just another epic celebration of this incredible moment in history that we are privileged enough to be here for.
Fantastic, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Get exclusive access to podcasts and behind-the-scenes info by becoming a member on Patreon today. Supporting Australia's unofficial home of Star Trek gets even better with membership starting at just $1 per month. Jump over to patreon.com/TrekZoneOrg.au.